Welcome to the Empowered Women Life Leaders podcast. I'm your host, Karen Bashford. This podcast is for every woman who has ever felt limited by her past, silenced by trauma, or held back by society's expectations. Each week, we will share powerful stories, expert insights, and practical tools to help you become the leader of your own life. Today, I am actually going to speak about intuition, something that I now live by. And I came to realize that just how powerful the changes can be when you live by intuition. Instead of constantly trying to control, you can actually let go, allow, accept, and learn to trust that you will not let yourself down. One thing I discovered prior to my nervous breakdown was the fact that I tended to try and control everything. I thought I knew the answers. I believed I did. And even if I didn't, I just went with what was ever going on at that time. And often it impacted me in ways that if I'd thought about it, I'd have realized that it was so totally wrong for me. So let's look at what intuition is. Intuition is the knowing, that sense within you, that voice that comes up before the ego, before the inner critic, and before your logical mind steps in and says, oh, I know the answer to this. This is how we should do it. No. Definitely not. When you listen, and I mean listen with a quietened mind, without all the BS that's going on in the background all the time, without the family history, the cultural history, and your actual lived experiences constantly interfering, because that's what you think and believe is the way of living that you need to be living, you create a different pattern. Definitely a pattern. It's almost like you can switch a switch and you can stop the noise and you can just allow yourself to hear that quiet voice that appears in your ear or in your heart through a feeling that you have, instinctively knowing what's right for you. Intuition isn't mystical. It's actually deeply practical. And I'm a very practical person. And the more I've listened to my intuition, the more I've realized that I have definite patterns of integration, of progress, of completion, and then rest, which is where integration then kicks in again. Because in resting, I'm allowing all the things and all the experiences I've had through my intuition and trust in it to confirm instead of deny what is right for me. So consequently, I've learned to quieten that inner critic. I've learned to question what I truly believe, what is right for me, and how do I want to live. That took a lot of trust. And I'm sure the last thing I'd ever want to say to somebody is to go through a nervous breakdown. But I've shared so many times my nervous breakdown was the best course of action I could possibly have. And that was because it allowed me to stop listening to all the stories, all the beliefs, all the patterns that I have created over the years that led me to believe that I had to be a certain way, to do things for other people, to not trust myself, to sabotage my life by relying on all the experiences I'd already had based on emotions that were created in fear. Fear of not being loved, of not being wanted, of not being accepted, and even feeling different and isolated, even within my own family. And I'm sure many of you have experienced those feelings, that you've gone to a family gathering and you felt an outsider within your own family gatherings. Or you've gone to events where everyone seems to be cliche in the sense of they got their people that they talk to all the time and you're not included. That hurts. But you're doing that isolation because it does hurt. You've experienced that hurt so often that you're not prepared to put yourself in a position of being hurt again. So you ignore that inner wisdom, your intuition that can guide you in a way that allows you to let go of fear, let go of the need to control, and just be you. What is you? Big question there. Take a moment to consider, who are you being now? Who are you being now? When you look at your life and what's going on in your life, how are you behaving? Is it similar to other people who are in your environment? Is it similar to perhaps your family members? Is it something that constantly holds you back? Because somewhere in the past, you experienced fear. And that fear has become stuck within you. So you're automatically seeking to avoid what caused you fear, what caused you stress, what caused you to be hurt. And when you do that, you're blocking yourself from your own emotions. You're using preconceived emotions. You're using emotions that have already been experienced, and they are what you now operate by. When you give yourself permission to just listen to your intuition, to your gut feeling, a sense of well-being arises in your heart. It's almost like an inner glow suddenly appears. And I've heard so often people have said to me, you are so different. You look different. You look amazing. And that's because there is something within my heart that says, I'm enough, that says that I know what I need to do for me. I don't need to listen to all the external noise that I've accepted previously and that's still going on around me. I don't have to accept that anymore. I can just be me. And that's so liberating. Being me means I don't have to argue. I don't have to explain. I just know what's right for me, and I accept what's right for me. So if somebody says something, oh, this is the best way of doing something, of doing your business, or perhaps you need to do it in a way that makes things look or appear differently for other people, or you're doing things to help other people when actually you'd rather be helping yourself do something, that is not serving you. That's causing you to come away from your true self. You're not giving yourself the chance to be you, because you're just following the old rules, the old beliefs, the old explanations that you have to give because you're trying to be different. Intuition allows you to just be you. It's, how would I describe it? It's almost like there is another part of you that has always been there, but you've blackened the screen. You're not allowing yourself to see, to hear, or to sense what's really right for you. We have relied so much on everything that we've learned, that we've experienced, that we're taught, that's shared with us through family genes, that we have forgotten as a soulful being. We have an inner well of knowledge, and we can also tap in to an external, unseen knowledge that will guide and support us in ways that are right, that match who we are at our soul, that instead of being something that we've learned, we just know. In learning about who you are, you discover things that you didn't believe were possible about yourself. Like the fact that I know that I have to go through integration, progress, action, and rest. I didn't know that's what they were until I had a human design session. However, I knew that there were times when it was almost as if I couldn't do anything. It was as if I had to just stop and allow myself to just take steps, small steps, no real challenges to them, but just very small steps for a time. And then suddenly I could make movement forward. I was making progress. It was almost like somebody had given me an idea or a means to do something, or even shown me what I needed to do. Sloth or Beaver, the toolkit that I've created, was through questioning, I want to leave a legacy. And that question allowed me to integrate whatever I needed to know to be able to start then creating Sloth or Beaver. And that literally started with a thought that just come from nowhere, an inner feeling of, I need to do this now. And that need to do this now was to reach out and to speak to a friend who I use as a soundboard. She's also a marketing expert, and I adore her. And I trust her implicitly because I know she gets me. But that was sparked simply by a sense of, you need to do this now. You've asked for your legacy, so now you're going to receive it. And it did literally just arrive. And it was only through talking and questioning with the help of my friend did whatever had been integrated into me then start forming an actual physical idea and how to create the outcome of the legacy. And it's been like that so many times through my life, but I'd chosen to ignore what I was feeling that wasn't part of my everyday life. It was almost as if there was that screen, the button to switch it on had suddenly come on. And there on the screen was this guidance. Because I see, I feel, I hear, and I sense. And when they all work together, that's when I then step into action. So I had that feeling that I had to speak to my friend. I had that knowing that now was the time that I needed to create the legacy. I had that idea come through. And with the idea, I then started to create, which then allowed me to take the actions to create the Sloth or Beaver toolkit. I knew when it was time to move. Yes, there were circumstances that perhaps encouraged me to do so, but I could have chosen to just continue and just deal with the consequences, because that's what I would have normally done. But I also knew that there was something within me telling me it was time to go. It was time to find somewhere different. And in doing or following what I was being given, I moved myself away from a relationship that was harmful to me. It gave me the space to start living instead of fearing. Because the one person who kept causing me to be fearful due to their behavior was no longer able to just turn up. They had to drive a considerable distance to be able to just turn up. That was myself, my intuition, my gut feeling saying to me, now's the time, you're ready for the next stage. And even though circumstances, which I very much believe were created because I was ready for the next stage, forced me to confront things that I had been ignoring. And every step we take usually shows us something about ourselves that we've chosen to ignore, that we've chosen to brush under the carpet, perhaps. Or we're very conscious of it, but we don't want to face it It's not that we're choosing to ignore it. We're just not ready to face it. And therefore, we make different decisions because we're not prepared to face what we need to face. When your intuition is working, you are likely to be ignoring your thought process, which is usually, what am I doing wrong? Because when you're not listening to your intuition, you will be asking yourself logical questions. What am I doing wrong? What will people think if I do something different? What if it isn't making sense to anyone else, but I still feel it's right for me? Our logical side will try to stop us listening to our intuition. And it's almost as if, in allowing ourselves to listen to our intuition, we are actually ignoring what we know, the knowledge we already have from a source we have no idea where it comes from. It's an unseen wealth of knowledge that's available to us, both within and within the universe. And when we choose not to listen to our own selves, but rely on what externally we have been taught, what's happening externally, it causes us to question ourselves. And intuition isn't about having logical questions. Intuition is very much about allowing yourself to stop listening to the external noise and start listening to your inner peace. Because intuition is very much about having that inner peace. It will never lie to you. It will guide you gently unless there's a need to be safe in a moment. I can remember a time when I was driving and I wasn't paying attention. Guilty often of that, I must admit. But on this occasion, I suddenly heard, "Stop." And it's like, why? What? But because it was so commanding, but so gentle and so in my head, I stopped, I braked. And in doing so, I saved myself from an accident that could have done me a lot of harm. And it's that kind of feeling or that kind of voice that comes in that interrupts whatever you're thinking about at the time, or it interrupts how you're feeling. I would describe it almost as if there's I don't know, it's a strange feeling. It's a strange sensation. It's so totally different from what you would normally feel. It's almost as if it's a ripple. It's trying to get your attention. So it creates a feeling, a sensation, an emotion that feels odd. But that's how it can start, an odd something. And then suddenly you get to recognize that it's more than what your logic is thinking. There's something within you that's saying, listen to me. And this is beyond listening to the body. This is beyond listening to what your body communicates with you. This is far greater than that. It gives you a sense of power within yourself. There's no doubt to it. It arrives and you just hear it. It arrives and it tells you instantly that this is what you need to listen to. This is how you need to be behaving. This is what you need to be following. And there's no hesitation to it. And when you choose to take the time to truly listen to your intuition, to your gut, it makes decisions so much easier. It makes being able to follow a path that logically doesn't make sense, but it gives you the confidence to be able to follow that path. By a question. In my case, it was a legacy. In my case, it was a case of what do I need to know to change my life? And my self, my higher soul, my higher self heard those words. And it enabled me, or rather it enabled the necessity of a nervous breakdown for me to be able to take that time out and discover who I really am at my core, rather than who I was being before. Intuition is more than a feeling. It goes far beyond anything you can imagine. Intuition is your soul speaking to you. It's your guide. It's your protector. It's your enabler. And it gives you the courage to do things differently, to stop doubting yourself, to accept that you can do things you never thought possible. And it doesn't have to be hard. It can be gentle. It can be natural. You don't have to push. You don't even have to pull. You just have to be you. And it doesn't mean doing things quickly. It means slowing down. It means quietening your life. It means giving yourself joy and the pleasure to enjoy life. And if you truly trust your intuition, you will always have what you need. There will be no money shortage. There will be relationships that serve you rather than disempower you. You will have the success you're looking for. You will find people that match what you think, how you behave, how you give, but always give to yourself before you give to others. So you're not people pleasing. You're just naturally giving because it's the right thing to do for you. You get to be a different person. You get to be a happier person. You get to do things spontaneously because it feels right to do it. It opens so many possibilities to you that perhaps your logical side would have said no to. It enables you to go beyond your comfort zone and even beyond your uncomfortable zone into a zone that feels so right that you don't even question, is this what I should be doing? Because within you, there is this sense of I am home and at peace. So if you struggle with intuition, if you want to be living life as you, truly as you, at the soul level, then you need to seriously consider, what actions are you taking that contradict what you're sensing? Because you have sense within you. You have that ability to sense what is right and to know that you can trust that sense. Thank you for listening. I hope this has been of some benefit to you, and I look forward to speaking with you again.